we are diving straight into what has to be one of the most utterly dramatic, jaw-dropping conclusions in recent English football history. I mean, the 2025-26 Premier League season just reached an absolute boiling point, culminating in a match at the Vitality Stadium that literally had everything on the line. We are talking incredibly high stakes, record-breaking teenagers, bitter rivalries, and the potential end of a massive managerial dynasty. Buckle up, because the landscape of English football has just been completely turned on its head.
Arsenal are champions after 22 years. Just let the sheer weight of that statement sink in for a second. It is truly awe-inspiring. 2 full decades, 20 years of waiting, hoping, near misses, and absolute heartbreak, and it's finally over. And the craziest part here is that they didn't just scrape across the finish line on goal difference. Nope. They secured an insurmountable 4-point lead over the mighty Manchester City. The Gunners are sitting at the absolute summit of English football once again.
But, contrast all that wild jubilation with the mood down on the South Coast. Picture the tense, almost melancholic atmosphere at the Vitality Stadium. One more year, Guardiola. That was the desperate, super emotional chant echoing from the traveling Manchester City fans. One fan even unfurled a massive bedsheet with Pep's stay written right across it. You could literally feel this heavy cloud of speculation hanging over the club, with swirling reports that Guardiola is actually set to step down and end his contract a year early. It was a day filled with just palpable anxiety for the blue half of Manchester.
And out on the pitch, the drama was absolutely electric. Let's walk through this timeline together, because these 90 minutes were a total roller coaster. 12 minutes in, boom! Former Cherries winger Anthony Semenyo finds the back of the net. But wait, the flag goes up, disallowed for offside. You can feel the tension rising. Then, the 39th minute, Junior Kroupi unleashes an absolute stunner, curling a beautiful finish right into the corner. 1-0 Bournemouth. City is scrambling. Guardiola throws on a desperate triple attacking sub, bringing on Foden, Savinho, and Cherki. Bournemouth hits the post. City hits the post. It is just end-to-end chaos until the dying seconds. 95th minute, an absolute goalmouth scramble, and Erling Haaland somehow sweeps home an equalizer off the right post.
And you know who the standout figure from all that chaos was? The number 13. Remember that stunning 39th minute goal I just mentioned? Well, that was Junior Kroupi's 13th top-flight goal of the campaign, at just 19 years old. He literally celebrated with a somersault, as he became the outright highest-scoring teenager in a debut Premier League season. What an unbelievable record-breaking moment for the youngster on the biggest stage imaginable.
And honestly, amidst all this historic tension and record-breaking football, you just have to appreciate the delightfully petty spirit of the sport. Right before kickoff, when the tension in the stadium was thick enough to cut with a knife, the Bournemouth stadium announcer actually took to the microphone to mock their neighbors Southampton. Why? Because they got kicked out of the championship playoffs for spine. You really can't make this stuff up. It was just a perfectly timed wry jab to whip up the home crowd before the most important 90 minutes of their season. Let's actually slow down for a second and look at the men on the touchline, because the contrast here is incredibly stark. On one side, you have Pep Guardiola. He arrived just days after an FA Cup win, but was ultimately denied his fairy tale farewell. His hopes of a 7th league title in 10 seasons totally extinguished, leaving heavy speculation that Enzo Maresca will step in to succeed him. Then, on the other side, Andoni Iraola. Enjoying a wonderfully triumphant final home game, given a massive, rousing send-off by the fans after securing European football and a top 7 finish, right before he hands the reins over to Marco Rose in the summer. It's basically a tale of 2 completely different, deeply emotional goodbyes.
So, what does this all mean for the big picture? The crucial takeaway is how this single match permanently alters the macro landscape of the entire season. You've got Arsenal reigning at the top with 82 points, Manchester City stranded in second at 78 points, Bournemouth sitting incredibly proud with 56 points, capping off a truly remarkable 17-game league run without a single loss, and then, down at the bottom, Tottenham Hotspur, languishing dangerously with just 38 points.
Which brings us to the immediate fallout, because as we all know, the drama of the Premier League never sleeps. The headlines shaping the next era are already writing themselves. Roberto De Zerbi is flat out stating that Tottenham's looming match against Everton is a massive relegation decider, like he actually says it's bigger even than last season's Europa League final. Meanwhile, the transfer gossip is already burning hot, with West Ham captain Jared Bowen heavily eyed by Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man United. And speaking of Liverpool, Arne Slot has a massive task ahead of him to rebuild their midfield after what was, frankly, a disastrous title defense this year.
All of which leaves us with a final, lingering thought. With Guardiola potentially gone, ending an era of just unprecedented dominance, and Arsenal reigning supreme at the top of the mountain for the first time in 22 years, has the Premier League permanently shifted its balance of power? Think about that for a moment. Thank you so much for joining this explainer, and we'll see you next time.